Welcome everybody today to the Seedify HODLers YouTube channel. Today we have an AMA with Toyo, with Davi and Micky from Lucid Dreams, and later there will be Bruno joining us. He's a little bit late, but it's okay. He will talk also later. Bruno is the game producer. Davi is the blockchain lead, and Micky is the chief creative officer. First of all, Seedify HODLers is a platform. When it's not really a platform, we are a community where Seedify HODLers, as the name says, like to talk about the market, about Seedify IGOs, and how everything evolves. And us, we like to do AMAs with all the projects that launches through Seedify. Seedify, as you all know, is a launchpad where you need to hold at least 250 SFUNDs to be part of the IGO, or 1,000 to have a guaranteed allocation. I don't want to bore anyone about this. If you are here, you know about us. So please, Davi, Micky, I'll let you introduce yourselves. And thank you for joining me today.
All right. Thanks for having us. We're excited for this. So just briefly, I'm Micky. I'm one of the co-founders of Lucid Dreams. Also the chief creative. We are a creative studio here located in Dubai with a team also in Brazil, where Davi is located right now, together with some of developers and 3D artists as well. Davi?
Well, my name is Davi Bauer. I'm a blockchain leader in Toyo, and I started working in the technology field since 2000. So since then, I have worked in different roles, like most of them related to software as a software developer, but more focused on Microsoft technologies. Recent years, I have had experience as a software engineer and a DevSecOps. And more recently, like the last 2 years, I'm more focused on the blockchain development using Solidity. So I joined Toyo teams in October last year as a blockchain leader, helping to structure and code smart contracts and everything that involves the on-chain layer.
Okay, so both of you, you are very professional on what you do. So Toyo must be a very good project. We're gonna get in deep now. First of all, if you had 2 minutes to talk about Toyo and what it's about, what would you say? What people should be part of Toyo?
Well, Toyo is a play-to-earn game that is inspired into the action figures of our past. You know, people like our age. I know there's like younger people in watching us as well, but you know, action figures were kind of like the first action figures. Exactly, it was like before even video games was the first point of contact of interaction of imagining, creating worlds, and having fun. You know, how many of us, using action figures to imagine fights and adventures and so on? So we really wanted to tap into this, but like taking leverage now of this whole culture of collectibles and NFTs and bring this with a fresh look to it, where you can not only like collect a different range of Toyos, but also you're going to be able to customize them and of course increase their stats and earning money along the way with that. So this is kind of like a summarize of it. Of course, behind that as well, and it's something that is always very important to us, there's a deep lore where players going to be able to immerse themselves into the story. Our main goal here it's not only to give like fun to the players, but also really like capture them into like this whole world that it is Toyo that is completely different from ours as well. And with the storytelling, no players going to be able to really like start writing the future of the franchise as well of the game.
Okay, thank you. Hey, hello, Bruno. It's nice to have you here. We just started the AMA. Would you want to say something before we continue and tell something about yourself?
You too, what's up? Thanks for the opportunity.
It's okay.
I'm very happy for the opportunity to be part of the Toyo team. I'm very confident in achieving the game, especially now that I could meet and understand a little more about productive vision. It really is a very potential game. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your input. Now, just to continue with the question, are there any similar projects to Toyo on the blockchain or maybe outside of the blockchain? And why would you say that Toyo is better than those projects?
Ooh, this is a this is a very tricky question, huh? But look,
We always ask it.
no, but look, it's very for us. It was very important to have original concept from the beginning. I know it's very difficult, especially when you're talking to the game industry. But what you see a lot into the NFT space is, the copy of certain formulas, and what we really wanted to do is to give people like a fresh concept into, not only stories but also in terms of gameplay. So yeah, so in terms of other projects into the NFT space, it's something we haven't found yet. I know there's other projects, related to customization and other projects related to fighting, but really like with this concept and what we really wanted to do with also our lore and our the backstory is to present like our original concept to players as well. In terms of gameplay, of course, I can, we were inspired by not only like the classical like game modes, but I think like Smash Bros is something that it really inspires in terms of how you can have a really different range of characters, into something that is quite easy to join in, and it's very collaborative as well. So this is definitely one of the strong influences for us. I would say also there's another game, but not much into the game in itself, but more about the business model, which is Pokemon. Was an inspiration. I know Pokemon was inspiration for like at least 50% of the NFT game projects into the space. But for us, it's really like the business model of Pokemon and how do they started with a game and expand the brand to be really a multimedia franchise. We have different access points, with a series and licensing and real toys and so on. I think like that shows the power of how a good and a great property with a great story and an original concept can expand. And I think we really wanted to go into this direction because for us, and I think when we bring back to the NFT, everything we do that expands this brand ended up bringing value to the players and to the NFT holders as well.
Oh, it's it's very interesting. I like me, a lot of people in the chat would like to know more about the game. So I've read that there's a big storyline behind the game. Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit this storyline? Does it have an importance on the game and when you start playing?
Sure, sure. If I have the whole night, I can talk hours about the lore, but I'll try to keep it short as well. So Toyo happens in a different universe. Actually, it's a different simulation. We believe that we all live in a simulation, including this right now. And I think more and more this truth becomes, stop being a joke, it becomes actually a reality. But in our idea, we are living different simulations, and with all those metaverses and all the different games, they're all are just different simulations happening at the same time. And in Toyo's simulation, Toyo's planet actually it had a completely different story with a completely different geography as well. And into that world, a very brilliant scientist named Western Nakatoshi. She created the Toyo, which is a sentient toy that can connect to humans. So they can only be not only be a companionship for humans, but also to fight for humans as well. And this Toyo got really popular around the world. Different scientists from different regions, helped to improve and create their own different collections to it. And what we're really like doing now with the drops, it's presenting those different geography, different areas of this world, and also how different they are. Um, and for many decades, Toyo was part of everybody's life. There was competitions to us, there was arenas, there was tournaments. People had Toyos, as just a companion, kind of like almost like a pet. And the Toyos, they have this technology which is called heart bonds, and it really connects into a more mental and heart with their owners, with the trainers, in order to really feel and really understand what that owners, what the trainers want to as well. But of course, like humans are humans in any other simulation, any other universe to set. Eventually, they find a way to corrupt this invention that was really created, as a peaceful thing, but also as something that to bring joy to people, and they saw this as an opportunity to create weapons out of toys with this technology. And uh, I feel like I would say 40 or 50, 30 or 40 years after the invention of Toyos, Titan Toyos were created, which was like giant Toyos that had a massive power of destruction, and a huge war happened. And that was kind of like the last report that we as a player, the players have it about what happened to this world. When players join Toyo, centuries pass after this first war, so they find themselves into this broken world. There's no more humans anymore, and there's only Toyos that not only were abandoned because all their humans are gone, but also there was Toyos that were kept into secret facilities, into what we call seed boxes by Western Ekatoshi. When she realized that this war was inevitable, she managed to save a bunch of Toyos as well for posterity. So when you enter our website, you actually get to see the last entry of her diary, where she kind of like explains a little bit, and she's explaining how she hid those seed boxes around the world for the future generations could come and get those toys and build a better world for it. So what we're really doing here is kind of like laying out not only a past, but also like a little bit of mystery into it. I'll just say like Lucas, a word builder writer, is also on there on the comments, so he's kind of like helping me out with that. But we also left like a hundred chunks of time that we don't have reports, we don't know what happened, and this really gonna help us later on to create more content and create different missions to it. And what we're inviting players are not only to come and of course play Toyo, but also to start writing the future of Toyo. So they will come into this new world. It's gonna be very broken down. A lot of things happen. Not only they're gonna be able to come and have fun with it, but later on they're gonna help us build a new world out of this using the Toyos as well. So now our drops were kind of like part of that Toyos that's the scientists saved for the future, and that's where people are getting to right now. But also there is a bunch of pieces and Toyos that were just completely abandoned into the wild, and later on players going to be able to with like a certain type of mission to go and find those parts and acquire them.
So basically, I've seen. I was imagining myself the universe, and I got some vibes from Pokemon, so from Pacific Rim also, and like kaiju's. I don't know, the big ones, the like smaller ones. I think that it's pretty cool to have a good storyline behind all the games. I like it. I enjoy it. But now, talking about the Toyos, there are a lot of Toyos is the main thing in the game. You already explained what are they, but how can we differentiate one from each other when playing? Also, when we start the game, do we need to buy one, or there's going to be like a free Toyo to start the game?
Yes, so good question. So what we recently did two drops already. Actually, we did like one and a half, where we presented the first collection. That I think I can share my screen here. Let's
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it helps kind of like illustrate a little bit more. So our first collection was Kintut, and it's also the name of one of the regions inside the world of Toyo. Kintut
Mhm.
has it's more inspiring to the ancient Asian culture. You see like a lot of those warriors as well. We're really looking to, and the first collection to present the concept of the fighting game into a more clear way. So that's why we went for portraying warriors, and all of those characters. Not only they have their own the backstory and the own name, which I'm not gonna go here, but they're all like a representation of really like old warriors that are important to this community. The second collection, which is Jacana, it's a completely different collection. It's about hybrids, and it comes from a region where there was actually hybrids created by this another mad scientist, and it presents not only a different backstory like I was saying, but also like it shows the power of how we can really make a huge variety of Toyos. Our goal here is with each collection really present a different aspect of pop culture and nerd culture as well. Because when we were used to have action figures, the toys was either we had for everything, right? From superheroes, we have from monsters or robots and so on. So we want to bring this aspect to it and really open the possibilities for people to understand that anything can become a Toyo, right? That uh, but also for us is like I said, the drops presents a new region as well. So what they differentiate from each other, of course, visually, you have the quite unique from each other, and the theme as well. Each collection is going to have a different theme. um, and what they have also is they have like unique stats each Toyo, right? So Toyos, they are made out of it 10 parts. So we really wanted to bring the customization aspect to it. So not only players are going to be able to break them apart and then assemble a completely different Toyo with parts from different collections, so making visually like their own, but also each part holds like a specific stats as well. So players can really like build a Toyo and use the parts to really like maybe improve the stats of their current Toyo as well. And answer to your question, you do need a Toyo. You just need one Toyo to start enjoying the game. And then with one Toyo, you're gonna be able to start playing it.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the acceleration. I appreciate it. Also, you talk about there are attacks and stats on the for the each Toyo. First of all, is it possible to upgrade the Toyos, and also those attacks types? Is some kind of attacks more effective against some kind of Toyos and vice versa, or how does it work? The attacks.
Yes. So our first iteration of our fighting game will be a strategic fighting game, where like we call the holders of the NFTs, we call Toyo trainers, and this is actually what you really are. You are training your Toyo. Your Toyo is a sentient being, and you're giving like as if you are a coach of a boxer. You are into the Toyo corner, giving like the best strategy of how to defeat the enemy. So what happens is there is the different attack types that can be not only more effective towards certain materials. So those are made of different materials. And what we really wanted to do here is our game designer started developing here. It's a mechanic where you can really balance it out the different types of toys based on the different materials that are made and the different attacks. So you have your whole the good old rock paper scissor kind of mechanic here, or that you see across a lot of
In every
other
game, basically.
games, other games, yeah, basically that. But we're really like, even like when we did the drops right now, that there's a certain rarity related to certain characters, but that doesn't mean that the one character that is more rare is it's really too stronger than the other. Like even people that got like the most common character, they can really train that character and increase the stats to become the strongest characters as well. And what we really want to do is give the chance to any player with any Toyo really have successful fights as well. So the attack types, just going back to your question, it's related to to the material of the opponent. So whenever into the fight, a player can be able to see what kind of materials the enemy are, and then kind of like devise a strategy based on that as well.
Okay, you talked about materials. Are the techno alloys those materials? If yes, then that's basically the answer. If not, what are the techno alloys?
Yeah, so the technologies, it's what we into the lore, into the story is just the different materials. So toys were made at some point in different regions as well by different scientists. So they were different materials into each region, of course, but also into the gameplay. Again, goes back to creating this balance of it. So certain materials are weaker against other materials or stronger against other materials as well. And then of course there is like the siderite, which is the strongest one, which is kind of like the material of the Genesis Toyos. And this is one of the advantages also of the Genesis Toyos, which is like they are stronger. They don't have weakness against any other materials.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I understand it now. Now talking about the game and the game modes, I've seen that there are different game modes. Are there any requirements, for example, to get into the scavenger missions?
Yeah. So the scavenger missions actually is quite interesting. If I can just explain a little bit before.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So when we were like creating the mechanics for the game, one of the things that is very common into any play to earn is the breeding system, right? Because in the end of the day, you want the players to be able to create more NFTs as well. But we didn't want it to just follow, the usual breeding system, 1+1, you combine them and you create a certain other piece as well. So what we did is we created a breeding system that actually is the scavenger missions that not only adds a little bit of gameplay to it, but I think it goes better into create a more original concept. So in the world of Toyo, because the player comes into already like this post-apocalyptic scene where all the not only humans but scientists that created Toyo are gone, there's no more technology to create new Toyos. What happens is all the toyos there are in the game, they were already like created. So either they are lost into those storage boxes, the seed boxes, for other players to find, or they're just pieces of toyos spread all across this wideness, of into the wild of toyo. So the scavenger missions actually, it is our breed system, but in a way that instead of you know putting one and one together, what you do is you send your Toyo into a little scavenger mission to find new pieces or maybe even new Toyos that are spread out there, and taking a note, page from a lot of post-apocalyptic properties and movies, we all see that whenever you go into the wild, there's risks to it, right? So we really wanted to bring that aspect of like if players send it to you, they can find new parts, they can find even new like complete set of Toyo, but also they risk it to be attacked by other Toyos, other players' Toyos, or even the white Toyos, which is something that we are keeping a little bit as a mystery to it, that we're going to expand a little bit more. But the idea is that it is something that you can do to acquire new toys, but there's a risk on it. Maybe your Toyo will come back without any piece, or maybe even worse, it can come back, missing an arm or missing a leg and so on. So you really need to think about it. Do I send my strongest Toyo, because you're gonna have a better chance to it, but then I might lose something, or do I send a weaker Toyo? And it really adds to the whole fun and gameplay aspect to it. And what we can deliver also with all the scavenger missions is a little bit of storytelling as well, because by the moment the player send the Toyo, you're gonna after a while the Toyo comes back and there's a little bit of story over what happened, and then later on, we really wanted to start making these missions a little bit more complex. We're gonna be able to communicate with the Toyo and maybe influence certain decisions onto this mission itself. And yeah, in terms of what the player is gonna be required to for these missions, it's to have a Toyo in the first place as well. And then we are still sorting out in terms of the economics of the game, but we are thinking also maybe there's maybe could be a cost also in terms of utility token as well for the players to send that in the mission.
So you talked about a lot of the missions that players will earn that way. Can you elaborate a little bit how players are going to be able to earn through the game? But because basically a lot of the people here and a
Mm.
lot of the people on the blockchain wants to earn. So how will they be able to earn through Toyo?
Yes. So, well, I just talked about the scavenger mission as well, where
Yeah.
the players can earn, new NFTs. And then we have different battle modes, right? PvP and PvE quests that goes from basic PvP where the player just challenges another player as well, and then they can have a small reward to it, and goes to either more advanced PvP where the entry fee could be a little higher. We have another one which is the hardcore PvP. It is one of my favorites as well, where if you lose, you actually lose your Toyo, but if you win, you actually win a Toyo. So you can win a complete NFT. And of course we have other like the 2 and 2 and 3 and 3. But basically we have all of this like fighting modes that either players fight against other player, and then of course the higher the race score, the higher the entry fee, the higher the rewards. Or you have the PvE as well, where players gonna fight with NPCs, and they can also earn off that as well to do dailies and so on. Together with like later on, we want to really actually do tournaments as well. But also this follows the progression of the gameplay. For us, it's quite important. I understand it's a play to one, and in the end, players want to make money out of it, but we really want to make the game fun, and we really bring something that I think it's you see a lot in the space where games they worry a lot about
Hmm.
the ways the player can make money out of it, but they sometimes leave a little bit the fun aspect to the side, And we really want to balance it out because I think in the end of the day, if the game is really fun, people keep coming back to it. Players will make money anyway. Depending, doesn't matter how much they're playing to it or the kind of players they are. So for us as well, what we're trying to do here is to really have a gameplay that is going to keep evolving as well, to allow players to not only have more fighting modes, or different types of gameplays, but also a gameplay that evolves in itself. It allows players to have more control over the Toyos and eventually having more fun with it as well.
Okay, that's very pretty. Make a resume of everything of the game right now, and now into more the I think it's more technical parts. Where are going with sorry, where are the players going to be able to buy the NFTs or trade the NFTs? Is going to be an in-game marketplace, or will you use a third party like OpenSea or something similar?
Yeah, so right now, OpenSea it's becoming our secondary marketplace. Where we are where there's both our collections. We are actually OpenSea was not designed for not only most of play to earn games, but also especially for our requirements. And I'll let the V speaks a little bit more about our marketplace. But while we're still developing our own marketplace, which is going to be our primary marketplace, players can go to the OpenSea. We are currently actually in the process of reorganizing better the collections of OpenSea, and that's something because even though it's going to be our secondary market, we understand there's still a lot of people that go there, and because we didn't actually plan to use OpenSea for a long time, but we understand that we need to make things a little bit more organized in terms of collections, because we have now not only Toyos, but we have boxes, and we did airdrops as well for our NFT holders. We have like Christmas heads and Halloween heads, so everything is still one place. We wanted to kind of like uh, separate a little bit more just to make it easier for especially new players. That's something we're gonna roll out, I think, in the next couple weeks. But our marketplace, I'll let Davi talk a little bit more about it, because we are crafting something that is going to be quite unique for our needs, because there is a lot of things that our players going to need to do, especially on the customization part, and be able to, if you have one Toyo, there is one NFT, and you break it, and all of a sudden you have 10 NFTs. How you solve all that? I'll let David talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a big challenge because we are working on it to fit our needs. So nowadays, OpenSea, you can see your Toyo, but it's like a generic token. You are working to have our own marketplace, so you can bundle all the parts together, and you can, have like a visualization of everything together. So, basically speaking, we need to, you need to adjust the marketplace to fit our needs. So you are working on creating our own marketplace. So but we are keeping the same standard. So ERC 721. So we are not planning to, move to another standard. And also using Polygon because of the tax fees. So you are using because of the gas fees. So you are not changing, the structure of the smart contracts. Basically, you keep all the same, but our marketplace will be, you need to create your own marketplace to have a better visualization of the Toyo, and also to have like a nice features inside it. But this is, I think, the things that I can share for now. But yeah, we're working on it. We're planning our roadmap to considering our own marketplace.
Okay, that's gonna be well. There are a lot of marketplace, so you can take your time and create a good one before going ahead and creating a marketplace too. That's true. And now into the tokenomics. I know there are two different tokens, Bond and Toyo, right?
Yes.
Can you explain how does it work? What are the utilities of the each token, and also I just came to my mind. Which token are going to be able to buy on Seedify?
Yes. So Toyo, it's our governance token, and it's the token that players and users gonna be able to buy on the Seedify. That's the token we are listing into our IDO, and it is, as the name say, our governance token. We really wanted to create systems of staking, but also in terms of governance and voting as well. Because, like I said, Toyo, it is a project that it's constantly, it's ongoing and evolving and growing, and a lot of decisions in terms of how and where we expand this gameplay, we wanted to allow our token holders to be able to influence that as well. A governance token will be able to have the token holders will be able to have influence into that. And our utility token, it's bonds, and it's going to be used more for smaller operations into in-game. We don't have yet all the details and crafted about of the economics of the game, and this is something that is very tricky. We've seen a lot of projects, struggling with that, because you need to consider a bunch of things in terms of what players play in, and the style of the players as well. We see, like, other projects our utility token like dropping drastically because of that. But we really wanted to kind of like separate and have it, because we have a lot of small operations that you do into the game. One of the things that I forgot to mention before when we we're talking about the game modes is that whenever you put your Toyo to fight, your Toyo is gonna get some damage as well, because in the end of the day it's a fight, and then eventually your Toyo might break. So you do need, to take care of your Toyo and repair it and so on. So for smaller things like that, or even like, for example, for some other smaller types of game modes and other things, we're gonna use this utility token that's gonna be minted in game. And then you have, of course, the Toyo token, which is a governance token that already have a defined max supply, and uh, users can acquire it in during the IDO.
Yeah, but a lot of projects are using this model of the two tokens, and I think it's one of the best models right now. Who knows? Maybe in the future it's gonna be some model will revolutionize everything. But right now, I think it's one of the best models. Now, I know the guy who was going to answer this question couldn't attend the last minute, but I'm gonna ask you also
Yep.
who will be performing the security audit, and how are you preventing the fraudulent use of the NFTs? Like, I don't know, maybe someone is gonna cheat on the game, or they find a way. What are you going to do in that case?
Yeah, no, this is Acid was our cybersecurity lead. He unfortunately couldn't join us. But just to answer in terms of for us, for not for Lucid Dreams, but for the Toyo project, transparency is quite important in terms, of security as well. We see a lot of projects, not only suffering, for a bad reputation of scammers and other well-intent people into the space, but also trying to actually affect, good projects like ourselves, like we've seen already, and we are so new into it. We've already seen some attempts and some attacks, and us to be able to really work around that. But we are, I don't have yet, I don't want a full disclosure, but we're gonna work with auditing company as well. That I think we're gonna be able to disclose maybe next week, where not only they're gonna take care of all the auditing for us in terms of cybersecurity and smart contract, and really be able to give all the reports as well. But we are onboarding one of the members, a main member of this company as advisor as well, so he can be also into our advisory board and really guide us in terms of the best practice for cybersecurity. So it is quite important to us, and we will have that auditing, across all the process of Toyo.
And
Okay,
technically
thank you.
speaking, we already have some process in place in terms of scanning the smart contract. So we conduct security scan sessions. So as Micky mentioned, we have a person on the team who is specialized in smart contract. So every time we need to deploy or upgrade a smart contract, we validate all the code before the smart contract can be deployed to the mainnet. So we use some tools to have like a static analysis on the code. We also use OpenZeppelin as a base library for our smart contract. So it's like a library for secure smart contract development. It's, because it's open source, audited, and the most used library in smart contract development. So we also follow the SCC, that stands for like smart contracts weakness and classification and test cases. So it's like a list of the most common vulnerabilities found in smart contracts. So it's very useful because you can proactively like work in the code to prevent security vulnerability in your code base. So even though we don't have like external audit, we have some process internally in place to prevent, that we have vulnerabilities in our smart contracts.
Okay, thank you for it. As you said, it's very important. The security in those games, a lot of people fear rug pulls or things like that. So it's really good that you are getting someone on the team. Please don't say anything. We don't want to get you banned or fired or anything. So just say whatever you can. I think it's okay with the question from my part. We're gonna go now with the community questions. But before, guys, we're watching the stream. Remember, there is a giveaway. We are giving away 10 IGO allocation of Seedify Tier 1. So, with the vesting and everything. So, guys, go check the Gleam and join. The code will be put on the screen here in any moment. Keep watching it. And I think that's it. If we can go ahead with the questions, Sebastian will put it here, and we can go ahead. Okay, so will the gameplay be real time or turn based? And when we send Toyos on scavenger missions, can it participate in battles?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So Sebastian, the game, well, like I said, we will start with a strategic, it'll be a strategic fight. You devise a strategy to it, and then you will watch your Toyo fight against each other. And what we really wanted to keep evolving this gameplay. So the turntable, it is also something that we want to incorporate to it in a little bit later into it, and then eventually we will get into the real time. And I think this is something that we thought about in terms of should we wait until we get to that point of development to release the game, or should we let players also to join us in terms of the evolution of the game in itself? So this is something that we decided to really move the delivery of the game a little bit earlier, and it's a bit more simplified, but with the promise that we will keep evolving this to eventually reach the real time. And the scavenger mission, yes, so the idea is once you send to your Toyo, it will take a certain time for the Toyo to find a new piece, and then if you get attacked to it, you can set a previous strategy in terms of what you want to do, what kind of fight you want your Toyo to play. And then later on, for sure, when we start implementing more real-time aspects to the fight, we can explore also, once your Toyo is in a scavenger mission and it finds another white Toyo or another player's Toyo, if you want to jump in and actually control your Toyo to fight it as well.
Okay, okay, thank you. And now we go with the next question, please. Okay, Alejandro asks, can you tell us more about the esports scenario? How do you plan to conduct it?
Definitely, this is in something into our vision for Toyo, and I think you see, fighting games in general being so popular for the esports. When we run it first, is to actually build, the Toyo into a product that we are very comfortable into moving to this step. I think this is something that is a natural progression through it. I think once we reach a step of Toyo that is more mature and we're seeing that it is the vision where we wanted to, we definitely wanted to take it to, with our tournaments and become, more part of the esports community.
So basically, are you planning to do the esports? Is it going? Well, are you going to try to collaborate with some esport game, like I don't know, paying gaming in Brazil or teams like that?
Yeah, I think we haven't thought too much ahead in terms of how we're gonna, explore to bring esports. It's something that we definitely see in the future of Toyo, especially because in the end of the day, if you think about it, play to ones what is giving to regular players is something that esports already give to traditional players, which is making money, having fun. So it definitely, I think it's an encounter of the best of worlds. And how we're actually going to do it, we haven't still crafted that. I think it's also the moment we are into the game and we, like I said, have this well mature fighting game, uh, and also let the community and let our token holders and NFT holders be able to participate into those decisions of how we should explore, the esports aspect. We're definitely going to start having, like our own type of tournaments and having like, really bring the whole community together in terms of to see who's the best Toyo trainer, and then later on how we expand this to a more well structured tournaments and events.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. That it's looking promising in the esports scene. If that game gets to the esports scene, that's gonna be massive. Always, it always happens.
Yeah, one thing, sorry to interrupt you, that we really believe, and then we're really looking here is not just for the next month gains and the hype and
Yeah.
everything. We're really here to be part of the mass adoption process that will happen into the crypto and NFT game space as well. Because we do know that right now our community, even though it's big, it's quite small compared to the gaming community in itself. So the possibilities are so big when we start seeing NFT games becoming more stream, and you see all this, people that are already gamers but are not in the crypto space as well. And we want to help and facilitate that. We know that we are just a little fish into a huge ocean, but we truly believe that this is what will happen. This it is the future, and we're really looking forward to surf this wave.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, I don't. If I gonna invest or just play a game, I would like to be more than just 2 days game. And so I really hope that the Toyo Go does well because it's kind of new game for me. So I would like to try playing. So we go ahead with the next question, please. Okay, Santiago asks, can artists incentivize themselves by creating designs for Toyo?
Yes, definitely. I think as you probably people that already saw Toyo, you see how much we care about the visuals and the craft of everything we do. We are definitely studying now that we are in the early stages of IDO, thinking about how to involve more community into art contests, and really like later on we want to be able to tell make users customize the toys in many different ways. So it is something that later on in the project we're going to be able to see users be able to do more and more customizations that can involve this artistic aspect to it. But for now, for sure, we are planning to think about how people can just create their own fun arts, and of course you can just join in our Discord, Discord .gg/ToyoVerse, and you post your art there. Let's see it. I'm curious to see it now.
Go ahead and post your arts. I'm not good at anything artistic, so I won't be posting anything. But I know people loves to do some art. Okay, we go ahead with the next question. I think we can take two or three more questions. Sebastian asks, "What are your short-term and long-term goals for the project? How do you see Toyo in the future? Do you see it as a popular franchise?"
Definitely. Our short term is creating a game, develop creating a product for our NFT holders, a game where not only the our community or users that join early in the stage and really wanted to start seeing returns of it. So this is definitely into our horizons. Well, how we can create a solid and yet fun game that users can start making some money out of it and the project can start growing, and then later on in a more medium long term, it's how you can keep adding value to it. So with also the expansion of the game and expansion of the brand, how can you start exploring other mediums to explore this lore? So as I told you like before, the back of the game there's this rich lore, and for us it's quite important because not only immerses the gamers into this storytelling, but also is an opportunity to create different mediums, different access points to the game. So we're really looking for in the future to create comic books, to create real life toys, trading cards, and even an animated series because there's so much story to it. And all of this, will bring value back to our players, back to the NFT holders. We're really looking here to um, not only like you own the NFT, but you own like a piece of the intellectual property as well, because we want players to be able to see this character into different mediums as well. So we looking not only to build the game, but like I was saying, following the Pokemon business model, it's really built a franchise where, and goes back to what we are saying about mass adoption, reaching other people there are a little bit scared of crypto, but they will see our stories, they will see our project, and that will make them want to explore and actually join the game.
Okay, thank you. Now I think we're gonna get one more question, and that's it. Can you tell us more about the physical game assets such as merchandise and action figures? How do you plan to integrate it in the ecosystem? I want to add, if I buy an action figure in real life, can I use it in the game?
This is a really good question. And yes, actually, I think the fact that we are starting this franchise from the game and from an FT game, it's perfect because we can really make the NFT holders be it actually own a part of the property, and we can really track them into the sense. So everything we will launch will have a direct link with the NFTs. So either it will be into share royalties culture where if you, for example, you're launching a comic book of one of our characters, and the NFT holders, they are like, for example, staking that character, maybe can have a percentage of the royalties of the profits. Or if you are creating like real life toys, there will be an equivalent of that toy of that character into the NFT as well. So for us, everything connects to back to the blockchain, back to the NFT.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I saw one more question. What I said is gonna be last, but I saw one that it's pretty interesting. So you can put it's from our guy Rajesh, the guy that's always here. We love him. Will there be other game with Toyos developed by the game studio?
Yeah, that's a great question, and definitely yes. What when I was saying about how we expand the game, one of the things that for us is fascinating about the NFT games, what the blockchain can allow NFT games to do, it's to really rethink like in terms of all the properties with the same characters, right? So whenever like I'm trying to explain this to someone that is known from that's not in the crypto space, I always tell them like how many Mario games exist like since the beginning. How many Mario games you grew up with, right? How many Mario games you play with? Now imagine if all those games, Mario was the same character and belonged to you, and you grew up with it, and it evolved and became stronger and better because of all those games. So for us, one not only we're gonna expand the fighting game, like I was saying before, to become more interactive, more fun, and so on. But we're also building a world where there's different regions and there's different stories, and open up a lot of possibilities for us to get those same characters in the same worlds and start providing different gameplays, different actually games, but they're all going to be connected. So you can play maybe a fighting game with the character, and then you can go somewhere else and you can play a different kind of game, but it's all linking to the same characters. You evolving the stats and you're making money and so on. So we really wanted to keep giving reasons to the players to come back. And for us, in terms of creating also different games in the future, it's a way for example, there's people that don't like fighting games, and it's normal. There's people that like first-person shooters or strategy games. How you get to these people as well with already the story and the characters you have. So this is a good way for us to reach more people through the brand, through Toyo.
Oh, that's pretty nice. One quick question I just realized we didn't mention. When is the game going to be playable? Do you have a timeline, more or less?
Yeah, so in our roadmap, we are planning to have an alpha of the game by the end of Q2. We want to release a demo of the game for the NFT holders before that, which is we calling training module. The training module
Mhm.
is already going to allow players to increase the stats. It is exactly what I'm saying, it's a training module, so players could be able to train it into what is simulated fight kind of thing, where they're going to be able to already make the stats a little better and really like reward the early adopters. And then we are planning the beta to the second semester.
Okay, thank you. Now, Bruno, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, about the production, as Nick said, we release some tutorials, but now let's concentrate on delivering the game experience. The next steps is training mode. Um, we are advancing, and I hope soon to give a first game release. But is this normal? A first uh, first that all game pass with the concept and prototype phase. But I'm confident. Come soon.
Oh, thank you. I just what I wanted to say, Bruno. You are the blockchain leader of the game, right? Would
Davi.
you like to explain a little bit what you do as blockchain developer? Because I think we mentioned something about, and I thought you were shy about talking.
No, sorry, Davi is a blockchain lead, Bruno is a game producer.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Okay,
My bad. My
no
bad.
worries.
So sorry. Even though, Bruno, would you like to tell something? Then I was getting this question to you, but Davey, you can ask it also if you want to say something. But well, right now, every three of you, if you want to say something, just go ahead. It's your time. If you think we forgot something, and please go ahead. If not, we can just wrap it up here. And thank you for coming.
Guys, do you have anything you want to say?
No, no, thank
No,
you,
no, no.
thank you,
My
guys.
side, no.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. If you want to say something, Mickey, or just
No, no. I just want to thank you all for having us. And we're really looking forward, to be able to have more of those as the project continues. To keep updating, the Seedify holders community, but also, any other person that's interested to it. You can join our Discord. We are always there as well. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sure. In the future, we can do another AMA when the alpha release or something similar. We can keep in touch, obviously. And then thank you again to all of three for joining me today on the AMA. Thank you everyone for watching the stream. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us a lot. And I think that's it. Remember, the IGO is gonna take part on Seedify. I don't know the exact date because I think it's gonna be a little delay. But we will keep you posted on the City5 HODLers Telegram and on the Twitter Telegram about all the all the news related to the IGO of ToyoVerse. So thank you for coming. Hope to see you soon, and bye bye, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.